Henry went to the mall with $158 in his wallet. He bought 3 shirts that cost $12.59 each and a pair of shoes for $48.39. When he got home, he placed half the money he had left over from shopping in his piggy bank. How much money does Henry still have in his wallet after buying these items and putting the money in his bank? This is our main idea here. I underline my main idea, which is my question. I then put it in my first step. How much money, and you may abbreviate, does Henry have after spending the money and money in bank? Then move on to step 2, which is our model, and we're going to use our unit bar. We know Henry went to the mall with $158, so therefore 158 will be our total, which goes on top of our unit bar. He purchased 3 shirts that cost $12.59 each, so I'm going to section off shirt 1, shirt 2, and shirt 3. I'm going to place the value of each shirt inside of the box, $12.59. I then know, according to the problem, that he purchased a pair of shoes for $48.39. So I section off my 4th section, label it shoes, $48.39. This box represents the amount of money he had left after he purchased these items. I'm going to stop here and solve for the part that I have now. So I know he spent $12.59 on 3 shirts. So I'm going to multiply $12.59 times 3. 3 times 9, 27, carry my 2. 3 times 5 is 15 plus 2, carry my 17, carry my 1. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7. 3 times 1 is 3. When multiplying decimals, you multiply as if the decimal was not here. You bring back your decimal once you get your product. So however many numbers you have behind your decimal in your problem, here I have 2, 1, 2. I need to count that number in my product, 1, 2, and then I would place my decimal. So he spent $37.77 on 3 shirts. I'm then going to add $48.39 because that is what he spent on the shoes. When adding decimals, you bring the decimal down as you work the problem through. That gives me a total of $86.16 that he spent on the 3 shirts and his shoes. I'm then going to subtract this from $158, the total that he brought to the mall. So I have 158. I'm going to add a decimal and 2 place values behind the decimal because I know I have 16 cents and I have 2 places after my decimal in the number that I'm subtracting. So everybody has to have a pair match. Okay. So then I can subtract 0 from, I cannot take 6 from 0, so I'm going to borrow. I can't borrow from this 0, so I move to my 8. My 8 becomes a 7, this 0 becomes a 9, and this 0 becomes a 10. 10 minus 6 is 4, 9 minus 1 is 8. Just as you add decimals, when subtracting decimals, you bring down the decimal as you work through the problem. I cannot take 8 from 5, so I'm borrowing from the 1. 1 becomes a 0, my 5 becomes 15. 15 minus 8 gives me 7. So I know here the total of these items is $86, and 16 cents. And this value here is $71.84. This is not our final answer because according to the problem, I'm trying to figure out how much Henry has left after he spends his money, which we have here, and the money in his bank. So here it says he placed half of the money he had left, which we know is $71.84, and that's what he put into his bank. So I'm going to divide this number by 2. So I have $71.84, and I divide it by 2. 2 can go into 7 3 times. 2 times 3 is 6. subtract. 7 minus 6 is 1. Bring down my 1. 2 goes into 11 5 times. 2 times 5 is 10. 11 minus 10 is 1. I bring up my decimal. My decimal moves up as I move along the problem when dividing. So I bring down my 8. 2 goes into 18 9 times. 2 times 9 is 18. 18 minus 18 is 0. Although you have 0 here, we still have one number left to bring down, so we're going to continue with that number. 2 goes into 4 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. So I know he put $35.92 into his account. Your step 4, all you're explaining are the steps that you did to find your final answer. First, we add items together, items purchased, subtract from total, and we divide our difference by 2. And that's how we get $35.92. Now you try.